Hey everyone, how's it going? Nate here from Octave Studios. It's another Thursday, which means it's time for another tips and tricks video. And this time I want to build on that patience thing we talked about a few videos ago. And I want to talk about the importance of long-term planning. So let's just dive right on into it. Okay, so first off, why does this work hand in hand with patience? Well, to be completely honest, it is because without patience, you won't really be able to do any long-term planning. If you're unable to hold back from doing certain things or play the long game, you won't be able to reap the benefits of certain things. If you're working on a full-length album, for instance, you won't be able to reap the benefits of all the work that goes into that if you don't put in the long-term planning overall on how things are going to go without rushing. And that means everything that we've touched in previous videos. But the main thing is there is an importance and a duality between the two concepts. You want to be able to do your planning, and to do that, you will need to be patient. And the benefit to this, if you are patient while setting your plans, that allows it to be a lot easier if you have to set things back. For instance, say you have set rough dates for when you are aiming to be done, because although I've said in past videos, don't set dates, I mean that more in like solidifying release dates and releasing them to the public. If you want to have dates for yourself where you're aiming to have certain things or do certain things, that's really good. But if you're being patient with that, that allows you to either negotiate around tricky situations, or better yet, deal with delays or complications that come out throughout the process. Maybe things take too long in the studio. Maybe video editing takes a while. Maybe there's an issue with the artist you had originally and you need to find a new one, or your engineer, or you have some issues within the band themselves that put things on a delay. There are always going to be some types of hindrances that come up while you're going through this entire process. And if you're patient, that'll allow your long-term plans to be workable, as even though you're shifting dates forward, you haven't announced anything and no one's jumped the gun and you haven't released anything that might cause people to be unhappy if, say, now all of a sudden they have to wait a bit longer for something. And this can go for shows, this can go for, again, recording, or just doing things for yourself. If you're planning in the aspects of how many local shows you play and when you'll play them, that's another way to look at it. When are shows really good for your city? When are shows not so good? When is a better time of town to hit certain venues? When is a better time of year to hit certain cities? If you keep all of this in mind, you can then not so much pick and choose what gigs you play, but you can strategize when you go to certain cities or when you go to play certain shows so that they are at the most benefit to your band. Because you do need the experience and you do need to get out there and play, but it doesn't hurt to be sure that you're playing on bills that you know will help increase your band's awareness within the scenes that you're in. And that's the main thing. Remember, the slow burn creates the flame. It's all the small things that you do that create the awareness of your band, and it'll determine what happens for you. If you do the right things and you take your time to execute them properly, you will see levels of success depending on what you deem success. If we're looking at this as an aspect of a new band, if you are doing the right things, you'll go out and you'll be able to play and get your name out to not just your city, but maybe your region, your province, your state, wherever is applicable to you, wherever you're playing. Maybe you'll be able to create a name for yourselves in these areas so that you have something to build off of. Because that's what you need to do. You need to build the awareness of what your band is. And you can do that locally, like playing the occasional local show and planning out when you play those, then playing out of town. And at first, if you have to, taking whatever you can, but then planning, when are we going to ask for shows? When are we going to look for shows? When is a bad time to look for shows? That's another one to keep in mind. When are things a little too hectic in the area for us to maybe go there? Maybe it's beneficial for us to come back a few months after certain events so that we don't get hit by the instance of there being too many shows in an area, for instance, because it really sucks if, say, a scene has a lot of vibrant people that enjoy music, but there's just too many shows for everyone to make it to. So if you keep all this in mind, you can keep your long-term planning intact and you be able to execute things in a way that benefits your band and helps grow your awareness within your region. And that might lead to more for you down the line. These are all stepping stones to build off of. And if things do progress after that, it's going to take even more planning and even more patience. And it's better to practice it now and be able to do it rather than become overwhelmed when it all becomes too much for you. With that, I hope you guys take something away from that. I do have quite a few topics lined up for future videos. I just need to make sure that I can put the proper time into them. Next week, you should see something more in regards to either a DAW or vocals again, so that should be fun. And keep in mind, Alternative Waves is still happening on June 21st and 22nd. We have the Mainliner and we have the Corona Tavern, 46 bands, a bunch of genres. It's going to be a good time. If you guys want to come down and enjoy it, feel free. We just announced the second wave last week, and we are going to announce set list times this week. So be ready for that. Without further ado, take care, everyone.
Open up your mind, things you never even thought. Come and see inside the mind of a maniac. You only go so far, and now you're never coming back. I can't see it being any other way. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you say. Might see me on